Hey there, it's CJ Willie and I'm cracking a pack. Well, with the coronavirus hype, I guess there's nothing else to do other than watch me crack a pack. So today is pack number 14 of my science project of cracking a 1990 top Cello box. Check out my preview video for the explanation on how this science project will test the theory to see if I can build a complete set from a Cello box. I've added a link to my 1990 top Cello box preview video in the description below. With all the packs that I crack, I will share my thoughts and memories about some of the players or cards. After I've cracked this pack, I'm going to choose the best card of the pack. Doesn't mean it has to be a rookie, superstar, or even a Hall of Famer. It can be something funny in the photo, something interesting about the player, maybe some memory I had of the player from back in the day. So let's get into it and crack pack number 14. Still looking for Larry Walker. I think that's the last one out of the Cello box that is a Chase rookie card. So check the other videos to see what I pulled or when I pulled the other Chase cards. Okay. Start with Kenny Rogers. So he came up as a reliever, lefty reliever, and then eventually worked his way into the starting rotation. My biggest memory of Kenny Rogers was in the 2006 World Series. He was pitching for the Detroit Tigers against the St. Louis Cardinals. He had a foreign substance on his pitching hand. Baseball could see it, didn't really do anything about it. Blatantly obvious. I guess it's not the 2019 Houston Astros. I can't complain too much because the Cardinals won the World Series against the Rangers. Okay, Gary Wayne, relief pitcher with the Twins. Lenny Harris, utility infielder galore. Spent quite a bit of time with the Dodgers and a few other teams. Todd Stottlemyre came up with the Blue Jays. Pitched with the Rangers. Pitched for my Cardinals. Was part of their 1996 run to the National League Championship Series. Son of Mel Stottlemyre and brother of Mel Stottlemyre Jr. Brian DuBois, pitcher with the Tigers. He had a lot of hype coming up, but didn't just pan out that well with the Tigers. Kelly Gruber. He was a mainstay for the Toronto Blue Jays. Played third base. I believe he was part of, maybe, I'll have to double check it, but I think he was part of their 92-93 World Series teams. Power hitting third baseman with low average and a lot of strikeouts. Greg Matthews came up with the Cardinals. Had a great couple of early years with the Cardinals. Developed some injury problems with his pitching arm and never recovered. In fact, if we check the back, I think he had 2 years of 11 wins in a row. Yep, 11-8, and then 11-11 with the Cardinals that went to the World Series. Had injuries in 88 and then didn't pitch in 89. I do not think he pitched again in the major leagues. Julio Machado came up as a rookie with the Mets and didn't really go anywhere else. Bucky Dent, manager with the Yankees. My memory of him is ruining the Red Sox dreams of World Series. Many people connotate Bucky Dent's name with a curse word. All right, Roger Clemens. That's a pretty good card. Clemens, fantastic pitcher. I just wished he hadn't gotten involved in the whole steroids thing. Clemens was awesome. I mean, 2 different times in his career, struck out 20 batters in one game, 300 wins, World Series championships. He would have been a first ballot Hall of Famer if he hadn't gotten mixed up with the whole steroids thing. I mean, in all likelihood, he didn't need steroids to be as great as he was. Wally Backman, feisty guy, was going to be the manager of the Mets or the Diamondbacks. I can't remember which, but had a few run-ins, I think with the law and some allegations out there. So he never got his opportunity to manage in the big leagues. Mackie Sasser, memory of him, he got to a point in his career where he couldn't throw it back to the pitcher. As a catcher, he just could not throw back to the pitcher. Similar to like Chuck Knobloch and Steve Sachs, ended his major league career. I think he was a pretty decent hitter anyway. Clint Zavaris, I don't remember anything about Clint Zavaris, other than he came up and had rookie cards in, Tops and Score. Luis Salazar, career backup infielder with the Tigers and the Cubs. And Earl Cunningham, #1 draft pick. I don't think Earl Cunningham made it to the major leagues. I'll have to double check that, but I don't even think he had a card with a major league uniform. Carragum, still all in one piece, and oh, this time we get an ad for a Topps baseball shirt. Yeah, I don't think I ever would have got a Topps baseball shirt. Looks like we may be getting some repeats. Jeffrey Leonard, one flap down. Had a prominent run with the Giants in the 1987 playoffs. Mickey Tettleton came up as a catcher, spent a bulk of his career as a power hitting designated hitter. Dave LaPointe came up with the Cardinals, was part of their 1982 World Series championship team. He was part of the trade that I think, if I remember right, he and George Hendrick went to the Pirates for John Tudor. Or not to the Giants for John Tudor. Sorry, Dave LaPointe was part of the trade that went to the Giants to get Jack Clark for the Cardinals. Lee Guterman spent a number of years with the Mariners and Yankees as a lefty reliever. Charlie Huff, the ageless wonder, pitched until I think 1994, was almost 50. When you're slinging a knuckleball, you can pitch for a long time. You know, Phil Niekro, Tim Wakefield. Jose Oquendo, utility infielder, spent a little bit of time as a starting second baseman with the Cardinals. I think a couple of times in his career he played every single position, including pitcher. Was going to be a manager candidate, but it just never panned out, and he injured. He had some surgery with Cardinals, and now is mainly a minor league instructor. Greg Maddux, Hall of Famer. Maddux, phenomenal. I really liked Greg Maddux. I liked how he didn't have to blow you out with like a 95-mile-per-hour fastball. Talk about pinpoint control and just on top of his game. I hated when the Cardinals would face Maddux. They'd shut him down every single time. Gary Thurman, he was a big-time prospect. Had a ton of speed, simply could not hit and could not get on base. Dave Parker, the Cobra. He had a career that could have been a Hall of Fame career if he didn't miss a lot of years because of drug abuse. He could have easily been a 400 homer guy. Early on in his career, had a little bit of speed. Barry Lyons, backup catcher with the Mets. Ken Daly, lefty reliever with the Cardinals. After Bruce Sutter left town in 1985, he was part of the Cardinals bullpen by committee. Jeff Lottie was the right-handed side of the bullpen. Ken Daly was the left-handed side of the bullpen. After Todd Worrell came up, Daly slid into kind of that niche lefty specialist reliever. Had a pretty good career for a while with the Cardinals as a left-handed reliever. Bob Guerin, rookie Gold Cup. He probably was more recognizable as a major league manager than he was as a catcher. Career just didn't really fill the promise that he had. I always wondered why he was a rookie cup, catcher for Topps. If you look at his back, he spent a ton of time in the minor leagues until getting a taste in the majors in 1988 and 89. Greg Olson came up as a closer with the Orioles, basically almost straight from college to the Orioles, if I remember right, and spent a couple of good years as their closer. He pitched in a total of 16 games in the minor leagues after being drafted out of college. Finished the year with the Orioles, and then the next year, as you can see, 27 staves and a 1.69 ERA. That's pretty good. Randy Milligan was supposed to be a power-hitting first baseman. That did not take hold. He could hit homers and average, but he just couldn't find a place as a fielder. Ken Oberkfell, second to the last card, was a Cardinals player during their 1982 World Championship run. He could hit for a high average, was a decent defender, but had zero power. And so eventually, as the third base position became more of a power position, Oberkfell got lost in the shuffle. In fact, He was traded from the Cardinals to the Braves as part of the Ken Daly trade. The Cardinals picked up Ken Daly and Mike Jorgensen. Our final card is Gino Petralli, catcher with the Rangers, spent a number of years as a backup catcher. All right, so my favorite card, or the best card out of this pack, in my opinion. Obviously, we've gotten some duplicates here. But my favorite card is going to be I know it's a little bit of a homer choice, but Greg Matthews. Even though he only spent a couple of productive seasons with the Cardinals, Greg Matthews brings up great memories of the 1987 World Series run. Being a lefty, he reminded me a lot of John Tudor, kind of a soft-tossing lefty. Won 11 games as a rookie, followed up with 11 more games in their World Series run. Unfortunately, injuries got the best of him, and that ended his career. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comment section below what your favorite card out of the pack was, or what you thought the best card of the pack was. If you liked the video, please subscribe and share. Until next time when I crack pack number 15 for my 1990 Top Cello box. Remember, this is for science.